If you bored, then stop complaining. Tap into Slightlee daily. Pods and blogs and playlists. Everyday entertainment. Slightly to the daily. Slight to the lead to the. If you bored, then stop complaining. Tap into Slightlee daily. Pods and blogs and playlists. Everyday entertainment. Slightly to the daily. Slight to the lead to the daily.
Welcome back to the Slightly Daily Podcast. This is episode number 89. We're here. It's live. I got Connor back in here for another edition of True Crime Talks. I don't know what to call it. We'll come up with a cool title one day. But for the viewers out there, me and Connor, we've done I think two or three true crime, murder mystery type deal podcasts. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about a Netflix documentary called Abducted in Plain Sight. If you have seen it, you know what the fuck is going on. And if you haven't, watch this first and then go watch the documentary. So how long ago did you watch it?
I watched it when it first came out.
How was it, like a year old or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of old.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while since I watched it. I actually rewatched it last night.
You did?
But I fell asleep.
Well, at least
the first time it kept me engaged.
Yeah.
But last night I fell asleep.
Okay. So
What about Slight Crimes?
Slight Crimes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Slight Crimes.
Ever since you said that, I've been over here going.
Okay, so shit. The first one we did on the Don't Fuck with Cats. That was like the primary one, and then we did
I
one.
really like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I did
Not
that.
the cat part, but I like the podcast we did.
Mm-hmm.
Clear that up.
I'm pretty sure that we had to film that one twice. I think that was that the one that we had to film twice?
What, because of the metronome?
Yeah.
I think
Was
so.
it that episode?
I think.
This took place in what state? Idaho, right?
I think so.
Idaho. Let me pull up the Wikipedia of this as reference. Abducted in Plain Sight. So just the fucking title in itself is like, what do you mean? How is this even possible? All right. So actually this documentary came out in 2019. Okay, no. So there was one documentary called Forever Be, and that was released in 2017. So I guess this is probably whenever this first became popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2019 Netflix picked it up and did their own rendition. Okay. So this takes place 70s, something like that.
Yeah, it definitely.
Late 70s.
All the pictures they showed, it
All right.
definitely looks at the swim trunks and stuff with belts.
Yeah. Even the pictures itself.
Yeah.
So there was a family. The Brobergs. Jan Broberg was an 11-year-old girl who was abducted twice. I mean,
by the neighbor
family friend, and it gets crazier. But
I'll start off by saying the Brobergs.
Yeah, that was the family's name.
Yeah,
Birchfield was the guy,
the con
the
artist,
weirdo.
basically. But the Brobergs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna butcher that this whole time.
Brobergs,
absolute airheads.
Gullible,
just stupid. Some of the things that they let go on is just
it doesn't.
What? If I was a cop and they were reporting this, and be like, "You did
what now?
You
let him do
bro,
what?"
They would throw me for a loop. I'd be like, hold on. I got to put you on a brief hold. And I'd have to take a walk.
So, okay. Let me see if I can pull up Jan Broberg's Wikipedia page to get a more, Okay. So, I will say this. The one thing that did surprise me about this whole documentary, before we really get into the details, I'm surprised that she made it out alive.
And it's
Do you know what I'm saying?
that and the fact that she kind of sticks up for him in the interviews.
Like even today?
Yes, like when she was doing the interviews for Netflix, it was almost like she was like giving him the benefit of the doubt.
She wanted to forgive him, which I guess is like, a whole, like a...
It's almost like she felt bad that he killed himself. So this man drank milk, some kind of
heart
pills, and alcohol, and murked himself.
So, okay, all right, let's go back to the beginning. So, Jan was a 11-year-old girl who was victim of their neighbor and family friend just having a fixation on her.
He was obsessed.
He was obsessed with her, and how did he exactly kidnap her the first time? They went on like a trip or something. He convinced the family.
It was a getaway trip. Okay, no. I want to say it was because he tricked them into saying, like, because it started off with him sleeping in the same bed as Jan.
Yeah.
And he was saying that his doctor, that Jan was his like therapy dog.
Yeah.
Almost. And that sleeping in the same bed with her was helping him.
Yeah.
And I'd see that's another thing, like,
and it turns out the doctor wasn't even like officially a doctor either. He wasn't like
no one's gonna be like, yeah, you need to sleep. You need to just go to bed with your neighbor's daughter, because that will help you out tremendously. It's not gonna happen. But the first abduction was a camping trip.
Yes.
In an RV.
Was it just him and her?
Yeah. So he asked the mom, who also he had sexual relations with.
I'm trying to like take it. There's
so much. Yeah.
I'm trying to like take it step by step from the beginning, but there's so much that happens. Like step. If we were like, okay, chapter 1. Like there's so much in chapter 1 to like just lay the foundation with.
I think it started off with him teaching her piano.
Yes.
And then he became obsessed.
This is how they met, at the church.
Okay.
The Church of the Latter-day Saints. Bob Roberg worked as a florist. So yes, they met at church, family friend, and he started to become fixated with this little girl who was 11, and they went... He kidnapped her the first time, and the family almost had no, like...
I remember the mom saying it was like they were supposed to be back on a certain day, and then he was gone 3 extra days.
Yeah.
And she didn't call the police.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They didn't have like a sense of urgency. Like, oh my God, my daughter's been kidnapped. It was like, oh my gosh, where is she?
Yeah.
Like, she'll be back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, airheads, like ditzy, just everything's gonna be fine. Like, I get it. You met him in church, but
exactly. I think that's why they trusted him so much, because of that. They were like, oh, it's Bob. You know,
Yeah.
oh, this is Bob from the church. He's the flower guy. And I don't know how or why how he could have manipulated himself into both parents sexually. He slept with the wife.
so he was. I want to. It was something with the piano with the wife. Like they were playing piano or sitting down. Like he was teaching her some kind of piano.
Like seduced her.
And he put his hand on her leg, and she was like, "Oh, this is going a little bit too far." But then like he kept going, and like, you know, they had sexual relationships, and then the father was riding he was like, come, you know, he pulled up and he was like, come take a ride with me. So he hopped in with him, and he was talking about how he was going through a divorce with his wife, and they haven't had sex in so long, and
yeah.
and he was like, he just needs a relief, and he was like, do you mind relieving me? And dude, the dad did it, like gave him a handy in the car, and they, like, first of all, like, I wouldn't admit that.
Yeah.
Even if I was dumb enough to do it, like, but
How-
he was on Netflix in an interview.
He was like, yeah,
And, like,
I jerked this dude off.
He was like, I relieved him. Like, come on, dude.
So, okay, that's kind of just like step one of just how it doesn't make any sense how you can forgive a person who fucking kidnapped your daughter and did God knows what.
Well, yeah, on that trip, the daughter actually said she woke up with her underwear at her ankles.
Yes. Yeah,
And
yeah.
the manipulated guy. What's his first name?
Robert. I think he went by Bob, right? Or B.
Whatever.
Robert,
Yeah,
Bob.
We'll call him Rob.
Yeah.
Weirdo. So Robert told the daughter, because she was like, "Why are my underwear at my ankles?" And he was like, "Oh, you were tossing around in your sleep. You probably just, took them
Probably
off."
was an accident. Like,
Yeah.
you were moving around a lot in your sleep when, like, oh, and also they say that he drugged her basically.
Yeah, he was giving her sleep
sleeping
medicine, saying that it was allergy pills.
Yeah, which could be the same thing.
True.
But
like Benadryl.
Still,
Benadryl knocks me out.
Benadryl will knock you the fuck out. But like he was literally. Anyway, so kidnapped
I don't
her.
know where to go with this.
Exactly, kidnapped
It's a
her.
lot.
Somehow convinced the parents to let him go on a trip with their daughter, just him and her. Kept her for 3 extra days. Brought her. Did he bring her back
Yeah,
and
he
just
brought her
dropped?
back.
Yeah, just pulled up and was like, "Oh, here's Jan,"
Yeah.
and then they were like, "Oh my God, thank God," and then they were
I
like,
don't even think they're like, "Thank God."
they were like, "Thank you, Bob."
Yeah, they were just like, "Thanks, Bob."
Thanks, Bob, for bringing her back. And then Bob was still having like this weird obsession was still going on, coming over to the house, just showing way too much favoritism to her and affection.
And mind you, they had 2 daughters.
Yeah, 2 other daughters.
Yeah, he only cared about
It was
Jan.
only her.
Like, like bring the siblings if you're going to, take them out on a camping trip.
Yeah.
Like if they're like, even if I was to let my neighbor take my kid or kids out on a trip, it would be, you'd have to take them all.
Which is a normal thing for like a normal person with like really good intentions.
All right, a single guy.
Okay, a single
I
guy.
get it if it's the neighbors and the neighbor has kids.
Or like a couple.
Yeah.
Like if there was like, oh, you're going with Jimmy's parent, you and your friend Jimmy, you're going with his parents too.
Yes, if
okay,
they have
yeah,
kids, you know
yeah.
what I'm
Go.
saying? Like,
Let's go.
that's-
Yeah, sure. Go on a camping trip. But like
One dude.
one dude,
One child.
a girl, a little girl. Very, very weird. That's suspicious. That is red flag number 1. Then both of the parents get coerced into having sexual relations with him as well.
And I'm surprised. Like, how did that conversation go?
I
Like,
know.
Like, I slept with, like, the wife was like, I slept with Robert. And he was like, well, I gave him a hand job.
Yeah,
So.
And then, okay, so this was after the first abduction. Which also, like Connor said, no police reports, nothing. So obviously he got off scot-free for kidnapping a child.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like.
Still able to come over and sleep in the same bed and stuff.
And then he was,
Like, not sleeping in the same, this is like a twin-sized child bed.
yeah.
Like, you gotta cuddle.
Like,
There's no other option.
and then, so yes, he was going to therapy, and they were like, he basically the therapist was telling him, oh, you have a bunch of unresolved like childhood trauma, and he tries to use that as an excuse, like, oh, well, I was abused as a child, and this is how I cope with this is my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So this is how I need to be healed. And that was what he was using to justify to the parents, hey, I have something wrong with me, and I need to get better by weaning myself off of her because I just can't help my obsession with your 12-year-old daughter.
I mean, yeah, this guy was like a he could manipulate.
Yes.
Well. And I'm not no kudos given to this
No,
guy.
absolutely not.
Fuck this guy. And I try not to cuss on here, but for real, that guy. Get this. But like, dude, it's so hard to put into words what this man did. It's like.
Okay, let's go on to the second time. So the second time was more. It was way longer.
I think it was like 28 days.
Yeah, and the parents were. They were more concerned this time, but not enough. It wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were more concerned. They were like, and what's different about this time is what he did to her mind. He was convincing her that they were supposed to get married, and the alien stuff.
Yeah. So
Talk about that. Talk about that. Because that's an important. That is like the number one tactic he used to brainwash her. Honestly.
Yeah. The RV had like a PA system.
Yeah,
and he'd get on there, and he stayed in the back of it, like in the room, and they were hiding because there was like an alien abduction.
Yeah.
And
an invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we're laughing, but this is not funny.
It's so ridiculous.
It's just like, it's 11-year-old girl. Like she's gonna believe dumb stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I just don't get about the parents.
Whatever someone older is telling you, you're gonna believe it.
He was on the intercom with like one of those little voice changers, like, if you don't, do this, this, and this, we're gonna hurt Robert.
Yeah.
And then he was like talking to her, like, I don't want to have to do it, but they're gonna hurt me if we don't.
Yeah.
And like he was literally like trying to trick her into having a baby with him
And getting married.
And getting married, and it was are
we good?
Yeah.
You want to take a? Do we need to take a little break?
No. What?
No, I was just I didn't know if like she needed something.
No.
Okay. I was like,
but the second time she was 14.
okay, which was a couple years later, and he still was having like regular interactions with the family. He was still going to church with them. He was still in their life.
And I misspoke. It wasn't kill Robert. Robert's not the dad.
Robert is the weirdo.
Robert's the weirdo. They were gonna the aliens were saying they were gonna kill her parents if they didn't have kids
and get married. And okay, so as a child, you will believe
in Santa.
You will believe in Santa. You will believe in the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. Who's to say that that's not? If you can convince a child that Santa's real, God damn it, you can.
Yeah,
you can
fat man that travels around the. I hope no kids are watching this because we just debunked that.
Sorry, but if you believe that, you'll believe that aliens have kidnapped you, and she was bound. She was like tied to the back of the RV, and she woke up drowsy, and all she heard was this radio scratching saying that she's been abducted by aliens, and if you don't marry Bob, then your parents are gonna die. I think you're gonna believe that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And it's not like
out of fear,
out of complete fear. I mean, if that happened to you, Connor, like you woke up in the middle of the night and you were tied down in an RV, you would think, and that was going on, you would be like, okay, what the this is fake. Someone is fucking with me right now. Someone is messing with me. There's no way.
Yeah.
Facts. Just because you're mentally mature and she's not. She's a little girl. Already been through abuse as well. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this point she was already brainwashed by this man.
At this point
she's gonna believe anything he says. And imagine you hearing that and then the guy coming in and being like, hey, there's aliens out here.
Hey, they're messing with me too. So you got to come with me and hide. We
gotta stay in this RV and mate.
And you can't talk to your parents.
Well, in the 70s, they have cell phones.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they had phones though. I mean,
yeah, but he was saying we got to stay in this RV.
Exactly.
We can't leave this RV until.
So.
And I'm pretty sure he did. rape her. If my memory serves
Yeah,
me
no,
correct.
he definitely abused her. I mean, there's no way he didn't. Like, there's no way he
It was almost like he went on a mission. Like, wait, 28 days, dude.
That's a long
wasn't-
time.
For your kid to be, yes.
That's a long time to not.
Dude, that 3 extra days would have been it for me.
Do you remember?
The first time.
Do you remember the phone call when she actually did call home?
A little bit.
Okay, so she called home. So this is the second time she'd been abducted. It had been weeks, days, and parents hadn't talked to her, heard from her at all. Her little sister picks up the phone, and then Jan is like, "Hey, I just wanted to hear your voice," and then her little sister was like, "Oh, when are you coming home?" And she was like, "I don't know. I'm not. I have to marry Bob." And then like her sister like gave the phone to her dad, and he was like, "Oh my God." Like, I mean, he was like, "Oh my God, Jan," but he wasn't like, "Where the fuck are you? Tell me right now.
Mhm.
Like, I need to know. Like, we have to find you." He was like, "Oh, this is so great to hear from you." And like that was it,
Yeah.
basically. Like no
Like no questions.
No.
Like, what are you doing? Where you at?
Yeah.
Like, you
Like-
got to check in.
he was like, there was no like sense of urgency. It was just like, "Oh my God, this is so great. I'm glad you're alive." And like that was it. And then he was like, Jan was like, I'm going to marry Bob because I have to, like, like, I don't know when I'll, like, he was like, "When are you coming back?" And she was like, "I don't know." And then like just that, like,
Yeah.
I can't help but to think that the parents may have been involved in this. Like, did that ever cross your mind?
No.
Maybe
just
they
because of-
sold her or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for
I
real.
mean,
There had to be.
I probably not sold, but the way that they were interacting with him, like the mom having
Yeah.
sex with him, and then the dad giving, they may have been weird into sex like that. But
and there's
if that's, I don't know.
there had to have been other things as well too, bro. And because it's like, I just, okay, so abducted twice, brainwashed, manipulated, and this man is still walking around free.
Well, he's dead now. Well,
Well,
yeah.
okay, I'm taking us
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's go to after. I mean, he's dead
So
now.
after the second time,
Yeah,
that's when stuff hit the fan.
sort of. Yeah. He.
I think they kind of like, like, you can't go see Bob.
Yeah.
And then the girl was like, I need to see Bob.
I have
Like, she
to.
was brainwashed. By
Yeah.
At that point, like legit brainwashed. Like, it wasn't like the first time. It wasn't like a trip in the RV. Where
Yeah.
It was almost like that
Couple
first
days.
time he was testing the waters, like seeing
How
what he
far
could
can I stretch this out and still have their trust?
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, 3 days," and they didn't blink an eye. Like,
Let's try 4 weeks.
yeah,
Like, that's a
we're
whole
gonna
month.
go for the big one now.
And then he never was convicted, or like there wasn't.
Well, he was on trial.
He was on trial. Was
And
he
that's
on
when
trial
they-
actually for the Jan stuff?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was on trial for the Jan stuff, and then he offed himself.
Yeah, at the very, very end. But he was also, dude, he also burned down. Okay, so this is after the second time he was abducted. The parents actually sort of had a change of heart. They were like, "Fuck you, Bob." Finally, it took them 2 abductions to happen. They were like, "Fuck you, Bob," and then he was like, "Listen here, bitch." Literally, "Listen here, bitch. If you call the cops, I'll fucking kill you." You remember those? There was like phone conversations. Literally, like they had tapes.
What?
Yeah, he was like, "If you tell the
I
cops."
should have stayed awake.
Yeah, I don't
shouldn't
know.
have watched it so late.
So
But I watched it all the first time, and it was. But he left them like a voicemail.
No, on
or
the
this
phone.
and they were just recording it.
he was like, because he kept calling them because he wanted to talk to
Jan?
Jan. He wanted to know what she was doing. He wanted to know, you know what I'm saying? So he was, and then like, the mom was eventually like, "No, like you can't see our daughter anymore." And he was like, "Fuck you, bitch," basically. Like he literally said, "I will kill you." And then he had They couldn't prove this, but they know this happened. The guys who did it got arrested and thrown in jail, but the dad owned a store, remember?
Yeah.
And it got burnt down.
Yeah.
Bob
Did
orchestrated
he paid
that.
somebody to do
Yes,
that?
but
Yeah,
they
that's
couldn't.
a big one.
But
That's
they
a big
couldn't
charge.
prove it.
Yeah.
But the two dudes who did it, they went to jail. You know what? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's 25 to life.
Dude, that
Arson?
They didn't just fuck up the store, like
the floors
it fucked
stuff.
up buildings around it, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like arson, bro. That's
Big one.
a fucking terrorist attack. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like a bomb. That's like you setting up. That's like the Nashville bombing. Like multiple buildings were affected. So, and this is post the 2 abductions, and he's still trying to get contact with her, and there's still no like proof or like there's still no like definitive evidence to get him thrown in jail when he's a child molester.
Yeah.
Kidnapped a child. So anyway, he was actually never found guilty of anything he did with the Jan stuff because they never reported anything in a timely manner. But so the mom wrote a book about it, remember? That's what made him pissed. That's exactly okay. Sorry, I'm backtracking. So, Mom and Jan wrote a book. The mom and Jan wrote a book, and he was like, "Why are you saying all this stuff about me? This is libel. You're lying about me, and like I'm taking you to court. I'm suing you." And then he was like calling them like, "I want to see Jan. Fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna kill you if you don't take that stuff you said about me out of the book." Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what caused him to burn the shit down, and then continue to harass them, and then that's actually how they. So I don't know if you can recall, but at the end, he actually takes them to court because he's like, "I'm suing you guys for libel." You know what libel is? Like, like if I was like, "Hey guys, Connor is a dog killer," and I tweeted it like, "Hey, I know that Connor kills dogs. He's an animal abuser."
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, "The fuck? That makes me look so bad. I'm not a dog killer." Like, he was trying to say, "What?
Yeah.
I'm not a child abductor." You know? And then all right, so that is actually how, and this is sick as fuck. But this is 20 something years later. He gets his day in court with her, and Jan and her attorney is there, and he's just sitting there. And I swear the only reason he did that is just so he could see her again.
Yeah.
And that is actually she told him off at the end. She was like, "Bob, you've like basically ruined my life. You've scarred me for life. This is all your fault." And then she was like, "Da da da." And then he was like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Can you forgive me?" Basically. And then she was like, "The only way that you could ever justify, or like the best thing for you to do is to get your day in court, admit to everything you said, and spend the rest of your life in prison for your crimes." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then what he actually was convicted of, they found him guilty of what he did to another little girl. That's when he killed himself is because he got convicted of the same shit with another child. So that tells you in itself, because a few more people did come forward.
That was like a Me Too situation.
Yeah, it was. And he offed himself right before, like, yes, okay, fuck this guy, he's dead, but dude, he lived a full life.
You know, he was old. I think he was like in his 60s when he did it. He was taking heart pills.
Like, dude, and it makes me sick because like he got off. There's no telling if the parent, man.
That first time, if they just would have did something
and got him thrown in jail, think about how many children wouldn't have been abused, or how messed up, you know, their daughter is today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, like they could have
Well,
prevented so much shit.
What trips me out is she didn't really seem that messed up in the videos.
No, I think she's definitely healed a lot, but there's, dude,
Yeah,
some
gotta
of
be.
some of that stuff, man, dude, that's not going away. You know,
Mhm.
I can't imagine. But yeah, tell me about what you think. Expand to me on what you think about her, like afterwards, like forgiving him. Like, how do you feel about that?
Like what I was saying earlier.
Yeah,
about
like, okay.
almost defending him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure those trips were fun until, you know, the allergy medicine
Until she
came
was-
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, I bet there's only so much she can remember as far as the molesting goes, because he would drug her.
And trauma.
So I'm sure she holds on to some of those, you know, good, like, because I think there was like a picture of them like skiing in a lake
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like, you know, probably had like fun times with them, not knowing that he had an agenda taking her out there.
Okay?
So, but with that, like, you know,
Like, you really think she was like, like almost like, oh, it's okay. Like,
no, definitely not. Like, not like, oh, it's
like,
okay,
like
but
adult
like,
her, like grown her, post book, post, you know, his death. Like, how do you? I mean, obviously, who the fuck are we to be like, no, you should feel this way? But like, her stance, man, she could just. All right, and then you also think about this. When you have like, when you just carry like a grudge, it's almost. It's really not healthy to carry a grudge too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and they were like a church going family, like,
Yeah.
forgive.
She was like,
and-
okay, I'll forgive. But he also, man, he never got his like day. He never got his day of reckoning. He
Yeah.
never paid no consequences for anything he did. Like, he killed himself. He probably had a split second of pain right before he choked and died. You know what I'm saying? And that's
He
it.
probably went to sleep.
You know exactly.
You
That's
know
what I'm saying.
It was
Like,
alcohol.
he
so
never
probably
really,
got super drunk, then took the
And
hard
then
medicine, then the milk.
and then just.
And I didn't know
Faded
that was a
off.
deadly combo.
I didn't either, actually.
Kind of
What do you think that is? What do you think the milk has to do with anything?
lactose. I don't know.
Really? But yeah, that was his brother was one of the guys in there, and he was like, at the beginning, he was like, oh yeah, my brother's always been a fucking pedophile. Always. You didn't, maybe, I don't know. I know you probably, you're glad, you know the gist, but
Yeah, it's been so long.
it's
and
fresh
I
on mine because I
Yeah.
watched it yesterday, but.
Yeah, sorry about that. I feel like I came unprepared. For
No,
this.
you're good. You're good. I thought I was unprepared. For real. I was like, man, I hope I get this. Okay. So, let's talk about the parents a little bit. How, like, I said this at the beginning, but this shit just does not even seem real. Like, how are you that gullible? How are you that, like, how can you be that stupid to think that like predators and child molesters have always been a thing?
Yeah, but what, you know, what stumps me is like, you have sexual relationships with the guy, and then also he has them with your husband, and this is in the midst of him taking the girl on trips in the RV. Who in their right mind would be like, he's okay to take my daughter? No, he obviously has problems, because he's swinging both. Like, I'm not saying that that's a problem, but he's
Yeah.
swinging both ways with the parents. Like, it's okay to like whatever, but me if I was a parent and that and it went that far, I'd be like, hey, you, like, you know, if I was the wife, I was like, hey, he talked me into doing some stuff. He talked you into doing some stuff. He's obviously going to talk our 11 or 14-year-old daughter into doing some things. You know, I'm sure they didn't think like, oh, he's going to pretend to be an alien and all this other stuff.
That's the crazy. I feel like they skimmed over that too.
Yeah, it was very quick. Like,
dude,
it was just like,
and that was like the number one tactic for like his game. Like number one part of his game plan was convincing her that was real. And like she was like some kind of messiah, like Virgin Mary or something. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, just like imagine him sitting down and coming up with this plan. Like, there's no way. You think he did this off the fly?
He probably planned this out. No, I don't think he just freestyled it. I think he definitely had this planned out for a prior. I mean, I don't know, man. Because it definitely took a lot of time because he was in there trying to gain their trust.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
Like, he was at family events.
Church, you know. Oh, Bob's coming over for dinner. Like that type of stuff.
Bob's here to sleep in Jan's bed again. He's having one of his rough nights. Like,
I just personally, I think that the parents are just as much at fault as Bob. I feel like they are, like, for whatever mental issues that Jan has had or is having, is just as much their fault.
Maybe that's why they didn't blow the whistle. It's because they're like, we're gonna get our kids taken away, like all of them, not just Jan.
Maybe they needed their kids taken away.
I agree.
Like,
dude, no,
that's not a good parenting.
No, it's almost like they had too much faith, you know. Like,
and I know that
there's such a thing.
They came from a small town in the 70s. Times were definitely different back then, but there's always been creeps and weirdos. Like,
and he probably did, he probably wasn't even a church goer. He just saw them as being gullible people.
I think that's exactly what happened. He was like, "Oh, I can manipulate this whole family."
Yeah. Like, he was probably just chilling in the church. He wasn't going there to praise. He was like, who can I target?
This is just like, it's so hard to even believe that this happened. If they didn't have both of the parents and Jan and sisters interviews, I'd be like, dude, there's no way this is real.
Like, that's why I was like, when we were talking about doing a podcast on this one, I was like, it's gonna be a tough one.
It is.
Like, whoever watches this and they go watch that, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I see now. Like, this is a tough one to talk about.
It is.
And at the beginning, we were like just spouting stuff off because so much stupid stuff like that. Dude, the parents let so much stupid stuff go on. Like, the second he was like, I need to, to help cope, I need to sleep in your daughter's bed. I'm like, dude, we would have been throwing hands just off the strength of you thinking that.
Like, okay, when you hear the word cope, you think, someone in my family died and, like, I need to, like, is it okay if I come over and sit on your couch and grieve?
Yeah.
Or, like, cope, like, like, you think of something, like, traumatic happening in your life. The trauma in his life was, oh my God, I kidnapped your daughter and I didn't mean to. Like, that's basically what he's saying. Like, oh my God, I'm sick in the head. Like, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Cope. Like, what do you mean? What are you coping with? Everything you did was your choice. Whenever you cope with something, it's something out of your control. That was all in his control. Everything that happened was, like, intentional. None of that was an accident.
That was planned.
It was all planned. Like, and he was making himself look like a victim.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I can't help it. Like, the doctor's telling me that, like, I
have a problem.
The doctor's telling me that I have a problem and, like, I need you guys to help me fix it. And the parents they fell for it.
Bro, fell for it so hard. Like,
so like, all the way, the worst possible way. And honestly, I feel like,
but it's like, it's almost like, yeah, these people were airheads, but I almost feel bad for them because it's like they were so trusting and they were legit trying to help. They were just so dumb about it.
So dumb.
Like, be present when he's coping.
It would have been way.
I'll watch your cope session right here, but you're not gonna go out and cope alone.
I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't even. If he did kill her, I don't even think I'd want to do a podcast on it, but the fact that she did live, and he is probably burning in a deep pit of hell right now.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I feel like
he had that at Mint 1. Like,
yeah.
just-
Oh yeah. Oh, Satan was like, "Oh, Bob's here. Come here. You're coming to the front of the line, big dog."
Oh, Bobby.
Bobby, been waiting on you.
That milk finally took you out. Get in here.
Come on, Bobby. Come on, sit down.
Come up in this RV.
Yeah, yeah. You come in this RV, man. Oh shit. Well, is there any final thoughts on this, man?
No.
I mean, look. Basically, long story short, go watch this documentary and just like, please try and help me understand, like, the parents' decisions and like how. It just does not seem real. It doesn't even seem like you could write a movie this crazy.
Right. Like, it's almost
Like M. Night Shyamalan could not write a plot that is like this this many turns and like plot, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like what?
yeah,
What?
like, no, it was almost like, okay, he did that, and then it was like, he did this. Like, it just kept going, and I was just. It's an hour and 30 minutes long of talking about what this guy did,
and it just turns and twists.
Oh, and then he used the alien voice,
And then he used like.
Then he burned the store down.
And then he burned the store down.
And, dude, I can't wait till we. So we're doing another one.
Yeah, we will do another one soon too. I hope you guys like these. Hopefully Katrina watches this one.
Yeah, Katrina. I'm sorry I said the F word. I try not to cuss on here.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's just in case. Like, I just
I feel that. Nothing wrong with that.
Did we touch on him actually taking her to Mexico so he could legally get married?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
So he did that too. I mean, he literally tried to marry.
Where'd you say they were from?
Idaho.
This is
right.
Pretty close.
Idaho.
I'm not good at geography.
Idaho. It's like north. It's like west coast. No, it's not close to Mexico.
No, he went far.
It's closer to.
That's what I'm
Canada.
saying. Like they had like it was like, I'm pretty sure it was 28 days of. So I think it was like a trip across America, get into Mexico, and then the aliens start.
Just thankfully she survived, I guess. And I assume that the parents are divorced
She's
now.
a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Like,
and like
the
I don't know if she's married. I don't know if she could ever be married, you know?
trust a man.
Like,
I'd be mad at my dad.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that, like, dude, you got to think the parents are divorced now.
You think?
I mean, they were never together in the films. Do you know?
I mean, did anyone interview together? I don't think so.
Nah, maybe they were all separate. Maybe so they could get like a solid story, like to see,
Yeah.
all right, okay, this lines up.
Now, what did Robert do to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, he just rampaged at this family.
And,
He left
others-
the other two daughters alone.
Yeah.
I don't even think they I think one of them maybe interviewed a little bit, but it was mostly just Jan and the parents.
There was the sisters were in it a little bit.
Yeah, but mostly just Jan and the parents. Like,
which I think the filmers or whoever, I think they did a good job with that. Shit. But that's the thing though, there was other victims too. Like, come to find out at the very end, like,
do you remember
they
if
did more
Did you
investigation.
have a count? Do you have
I mean, a few. I can't remember the number, but they said there was a few that came together, but they could only pin him for one, and then he got sentenced, or they were like, oh, they got him, and then he offed himself. He was like, fuck, I'm done. He was like, that's the rest of my life. I don't know how old he was, probably 70, 60.
Yeah, I'm sure he was scared
and then
shitless
he was
because
like,
what they do to child molesters in prison.
Done
is
for.
Rough.
I mean, yeah. Well, but yes. So I guess we'll wrap this thing up. Yeah, we will do another one.
The next one's gonna be a lot longer. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Let's
one of my favorites.
do. Should we say or?
Yeah, we're gonna do
the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna come with notes.
I actually know a lot about the Night Stalker. This one I wouldn't. It is crime.
It's true crime.
It is true crime. I just wouldn't. It's not the true crime that I'm into. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole child molesting stuff. And I'm
This
not
one,
into
yeah.
true crime.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
into murderers, but I don't think it's interesting. I don't like hearing about it. But
I think it's
what the
interesting.
Night Stalker did was wild.
I think it's not interesting that we're like romanticizing crime. And I think this is a thin line that these true crime podcasts and stuff fall in the middle. It's like raising awareness.
Yeah.
And not because, like, you know, whenever like there's like a school shooting or something, whenever you see their name, they become famous, and that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted that.
Yeah, I don't think Robert wanted that.
Robert did not want that.
But
Which is why we were like,
Night-
look at this guy, fuck him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
screw that guy.
Yeah, the Night Stalker did want that.
He did.
That's what exactly
Hollywood,
what he wanted.
but yeah, we'll get into that one. That one's gonna be a good one. Which you already kind of know a lot, but you haven't checked the Netflix series?
Lauren wanted to watch it.
Yeah,
so I rewatched this one, which
cool
didn't help me any. Because like I said, man, I'm not.
No, you're good. This
Like,
one
dude
was
was a
weird.
weirdo, but
This one was a weird one.
He
just
just-
because of like just what like
it's hard to grasp.
It
you know what I'm
is.
saying? It's like hard to put into words what the links this man went through.
and there's definitely
to
more.
be a child molester.
And I know there was more, bro. Like even in that situation, I know there was definitely more stuff that happened, more situations, attempted kidnappings. What'd you say? What was it?
Full backup of the other shit he did that nobody knew about. That wasn't on the documentary.
Yeah, and that's the
there
thing
was
too.
stuff left off from the documentary.
I guess that's the thing about documentaries too, man. Is
I'm trying to get to the part.
that's the thing about You remember the "Don't Fuck with Cats" documentary? When I
Mhm.
went back and I went on kind of like a Google spiral, and I was like, there's a couple things they left out. It wasn't like crazy big details, but like things that they probably could have slid
Yeah.
in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
He
the
convinced them to drop all of the charges, and then
he convinced them to drop all the charges.
they continued to let him spend disturbing amounts of time with their daughter afterwards.
Yeah.
Um,
After the 28 days of Mexico and aliens?
He convinced them to drop all the charges, and then they still let him hang around her.
Oh, dude, they didn't want to admit that on the that wasn't on there.
I don't think it was. No,
Yeah.
because after the 28 days, they were like, no, that was it. That was the final straw.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
definitely should have got their kids taken away. They didn't want to look bad. Now they look
the
bad.
book is called
Screw the
Stolen
parents.
Innocence.
It was what?
Stolen Innocence is what the book is called.
Oh yeah, that was the book. Yeah. That the mom. And
Yeah,
the
the mom
mom wrote, and that's what pissed him off. That was really what blew, and that was 20 something years after the fact. Is whenever it really people really started to hear about it. Is 25, 28 years later. In the night, it was like early 2000s. So like this happened in like, 75 to 80, and then 2003 is whenever people started to hear about this.
Oh man, it's just
But okay, we'll wrap this up. Night Stalker. Let's watch that documentary. Let's not take.
you should. All right, so now that we know that they don't put everything on documentaries,
Mhm.
Jan
Uh,
still sees B as her benchmark for love.
Wow.
what?
Jan is married now.
Oh, okay.
Has a son.
Okay.
Well,
That's
she got divorced.
oh.
I think you can't trust men after that.
She's got a kid though, so
She still looks for a relationship, and she's never felt as in love with any of the men that she's been in a relationship with as the same kind of love she felt for B.
Dude, brainwashed as
he broke her.
ruined.
Sad.
Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Bob had another wife called Mary Ann that he held at gunpoint and also kidnapped and actually married.
Wow.
Maybe that's the other
Yeah, I know that there was multiple. There was like more than two, or there was more than a
Bob
couple of
and
people.
Mary Ann stayed married until Bob died.
How old was Marianne when they got married?
Doesn't say.
That's Jamie.
Yeah,
on this.
young Jamie.
What's that say, Jamie?
Dude, fastest Googler with one hand.
He
And
does it with one hand.
Dude, yeah, because his other hand is on the camera switcher. And he's just
nice.
yeah, here's the gorilla. Jamie, pull up Gorilla's arm wrestling and playing chess. All right,
But, yeah.
episode 89. This was a
Sorry, it wasn't thought out and we couldn't get the
Y'all
timeline straight. It was just, huh?
Do you want some more random facts?
Let me see it.
Yeah, read it real
Read
quick.
this paragraph, or do you want me to read
Yeah,
it out
go
loud?
on.
Yeah,
Give it here,
let
Jamie.
Connor read it so
It's,
he can
it's
say
you're,
it.
you're hard to pick up on the mic, actually.
I think
The
I think
paragraph I left it on.
I think the moral of this whole podcast is basically just showing you guys that this is like the most ridiculous shit, and this is real life. This is not a TV show.
So to streamline the documentary, Borgman, I think I'm saying that right, ended up leaving out several story elements, including a meetup that Marianne had with Birchtold.
B.
That's Bob.
Okay, Robert.
Yeah, yeah.
In a parking lot, allegedly involving a gun and Marianne's brother. Borgman also consulted with a forensic psychologist, providing her with court transcripts and other evidence of Robert's fixations with Jan to help her get a professional read on B. She explained how much work it takes to actually kidnap somebody. Borgman said that's why it doesn't happen more often, because there's so much planning involved and there's so much deceit that
yeah.
goes on,
Deceiving.
that goes into it. To be able to actually kidnap somebody is incredibly difficult. Then to be able to maintain this ruse for years and years really takes somebody who has very little empathy for anyone else.
Yeah, he's a psycho.
It really does take a sociopath.
He is
yeah,
a-
he was a sociopath, 100%.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy, and you can't use the excuse.
So his wife knew that he was like a pedophile.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a meetup. Well, that's probably why she wasn't having sex with him, so he had to get a hand job from the husband.
yeah. Jesus Christ.
In a car, dude. He was just he literally pulled up to the guy's
Hey,
house
man, can
like,
you jerk
"Hey,
me
are
off?"
are you busy?" And then the dad was like, "No, I'm just out here looking at this,
just
seeing what the shapes of the clouds are."
yeah.
Like, and then
You want to jerk me off?
Yeah,
Like-
he was like, "Come take a ride with me."
Like,
Copped a handy.
cops are handy from the dad.
Oh, it's mind blowing on the
Like,
stuff
what if
they
Connor
let.
picked you up and
Yeah.
was like, Lauren's not doing
Dude.
it for me.
Dude, Lauren-
Look, man,
just-
I won't tell anybody.
This will stay between us, but I gotta get some.
Can you
kind of
jerk me
relief.
off?
He kept calling it relief.
Can you
Yeah,
re-
he's like,
can
"Can
you
you
relieve
relieve me?"
Can you relieve me?
Dude, it's been rough. Can you relieve me? I can't focus.
I
on
can't do it
anything.
myself.
Yeah. I've been spending so much time at work. My hands are calloused. But you work in a florist shop, man. Your hands are soft as butter. Can you just relieve me real quick? Like, what? Get out of here, dude. I'd jump out of the Mustang. Like,
Oh my god.
Mustangs couldn't even go that fast in the 70s, bro. I'd be fine. My hands would be untainted.
Dude, dude, this shit would never happen in 2021. Like, people are not that.
Watch, you're gonna be doing podcasts in like 5 years on some stuff that's going on right now
Yeah,
as we speak.
exactly. I
Still
mean,
happens.
there probably is. Yeah, it definitely still happens. But like a normal,
Usually by a family member.
yeah, true. But like a normal, it's just like a consensus. Like, you don't you want to protect your kid at all cost. You know what I'm saying? Why would you even put your kid in a questionable situation?
Bro, he wouldn't.
Period.
He wouldn't have even got the chance to murder, to take his heart medicine. I would have done unspeakable things to that man.
Yeah, like a law-abiding citizen.
Worse.
That's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
Pulp Fiction. Like,
That's pretty bad.
I'm about to have some hard hitting go medieval on you.
Oh my god.
Straight.
decide if it would be better if he was a family member, like an uncle, but at the same time,
There's
if
no
he
better
wasn't,
in that
No,
situation.
I don't know.
Well, like, they say statistics, the kids are getting molested and raped by family members, but then you bring in the hand job and fucking the
Yeah,
wife,
with
like you're,
both the parents.
like, it would be his brother.
Watch your mouth.
What?
You said effing.
Sorry.
Cuss on here. It's a family.
This is not a family. I'm sorry. This is like.
Y'all are over here talking about hand job.
I mean,
Because that's what happened.
this is definitely not an all ages podcast. Just like. Generally speaking,
I saw one of your podcasts on the kids' channel of
you
YouTube.
did not. Next to PewDiePie and
They
Mr.
had-
Beast.
They had you next to PewDiePie. It was just, hi, it's Slightly Daily.
Okay, man. Shit. Let's wrap this thing
What
up.
time are we at?
56 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Um,
I thought we were struggling
yeah.
to get it like a 30.
No, dude, we got in it. We got
Cool.
after it.
Cool.
That's basically what this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to just vary it up and not have like an interview. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to switch it up because like, most people who want to be on here want to be kind of interviewed, and that's cool. But it's nice to switch it up. I like having, I like doing like the concept podcast. You know what I'm saying? Where we have like topics. Like I also like having the ones where it's not an interview and there kind of is no topic, and I can just kind of be like, kind of like gummy bears or Sour
Hate 'em.
Patch Kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
I like Sour Patch Kids, hate gummy bears.
so, okay. Night Stalker, be on the lookout for that. Let's not take months and months to do that.
I have a busy job.
I know, bro. I know. Just whenever you get
I
the
know
chance.
you guys love seeing me over here in this chair, but
Yeah.
your boy's got a life.
Yeah, I know. I know you're busy, but just whenever you can.
Bills don't stop for nobody.
You're right. Whenever you can, though, let's try and get that in. Boom. Anything else you want to say, man? 89, episode 89.
Be on the lookout for the Ellie and Emma show.
Yeah, the Ellie and Emma show, the first ever show with podcasting with dogs.
Should we taste testing different?
Dude, we should do that. We should just
Yeah.
like
That would be
taste
cool.
test different butter, but like peanut butter with
Emma would
dogs.
just eat all of it.
Just
Yeah, Emma will.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Emma eats napkins if he's rolling.
Yeah, you can toss him a napkin, she'll catch it.
I'm almost at episode 100.
Yeah, no man, you're killing it. Did you think you'd ever get this far?
I hoped. It was in a perfect world, yeah, but like it's kind of surreal to think that I'm closer to close to 100. It feels crazy.
You got anything big planned, like for the 100th? Let's get everyone you've ever look. You got a boom mic now. Let's fill this room up with That's gonna be hard to orchestrate.
Well,
Everyone you've ever.
Oh well, that's gonna be impossible to orchestrate. But the 1 year anniversary podcast.
If Michael Jackson can get all those people to sing "We Are the World,"
Well, I can try. But for the 1 year anniversary, I had like 8 people on. I did 3 parts. Yeah, I filmed like.
I'm sorry I don't
6
keep up with your YouTube. I really.
It's okay.
As much YouTube as I watch, I should keep up with
It's
you
okay.
a lot more.
Celebration
Yeah,
video.
that's what.
Get all
Yeah.
your friends and people who've been
How
on the
about we just throw a
podcast.
party and
Yeah,
it,
that's
it
what I was
we
saying,
we
get
can
drunk.
we can have a cookout at my house and it's just you're probably gonna have like a GoPro attached to your hand like a
We can
Edward
grill
40
out.
hands and it's just like a bunch of small interviews.
Yeah, that'd be
within
cool.
A party.
You bring Ellie.
That'd be
that-
tight.
Yeah, what's your obsession with Ellie?
That includes the episode 'cause I want Emma to be famous.
Okay, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you, Connor. Thank you for giving me your time. I know you're busy. Yeah, comment what other, let's try and find some other creepy stuff, but the next one we have planned.
It's gonna be good.
It's
It's gonna
gonna
be
be good.
well
It
orchestrated,
is.
way better than this. We're
Let's-
not gonna spout off
I mean-
all the facts at the beginning.
And that's the crazy thing, too, about this one, man, is there kind of wasn't like an agenda. There was a timeline, but like,
It was all.
I
There's
was
so
kinda just sending
many.
Connor texts of
It was all like simultaneous. All this stuff was like happening at the same time, though.
He acted quick.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, guys. Connor, send them off.
I forgot how.
All right.
Thank you for viewing Slightly Daily Podcast in this episode of Slight Crime.
Slight crimes.